Councilmember Green.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor, just had a question with regard to this one. I know that we're transferring dollars for public health services to the Houston Recovery Center. I was just wondering who currently provides those services, and is this something, is there a budget item, a line item that this is being transferred from, or how are we handling it?
I'm not sure what the question is. I mean, we contract with Star World, which provides the basic services at the Houston Center for Sobriety.
Right.
But the goal is, as we've now had almost a year and a half of operations, that we have to up the intervention piece where possible, and the intention is for various recovery and addiction providers to be operating in other locations for follow-up care.
So will the Houston Recovery Center, with these funds, then let the projects to folks like the Star of Hope and other service providers in the industry, or is that what we currently do? Or
this particular item is focused on the City of Houston Health Department, but the goal is to have community-based providers offering recovery services at our city facilities.
Right, and we wouldn't let them like we currently do now, as opposed to putting out an RFP for a service provider to provide these type services. Now the Houston Recovery Center will do that. Is that what we're saying?
I don't know the answer to that question. You want to tag the item, or shall I bring someone forward to answer?
If somebody, well, you know.
I see Kathy Barton back there.
Thank you.
Turn on one. You heard the question?
Repeat it, please.
This is about the Houston Center for Sobriety, the item on the agenda. What are the services going to be provided, and how are they going to be contracted?
This is part of the 1115 project, and so it was when we created the 1115 waiver contract, this is who was contracted to provide these services. If they subcontract, that would be up to them.
And if I may, so will the City Health Department then receive the funds and then transfer it to the Houston Recovery Center, and then they will let it to the service providers, or will the Houston Health Department let the funds to the service provider and they will work with the Houston Recovery Center? I'm trying to understand now the new process. Are we writing grants from a city perspective to this LGC, or is this LGC, will they be responsible for writing their own grants for these services?
I would have to get back with you on that. This is a contract with this is a contract to provide these services at the Sobriety Center as a part of the 1115 waiver project.
Okay, all right. I mean, I won't tag this, but I would, if you could get back with me on how, because this is new, because of the Recovery Center, and it would be interesting to know, how we're handling these grants that come.
Because services will be provided at multi-service centers, not at the Center for Sobriety.
So then, why is that? So then, why are we, if there's going to be multi-service center at the center, then why are we transferring the funds? I guess my question would be
because they have expertise in addiction issues, and we don't.
So they're an actual service provider.
Yes, they are.
Okay, all right. So we're contracting them to actually do the service, and they will be performing the service. They won't be letting me out to subcontract it.
There may be some contracting, but they are the experts in sobriety and addiction treatment.
So now every time we receive grant dollars, we will transfer those to Houston Recovery, and then they will determine how they're spent.
This is not a grant. This is 1115 waiver project, so it's a contract.
So formula dollars, if you will. So whenever we receive those formula dollars, we will just, Health Department's policy now would be to transfer those when they deal with sobriety issues.
In this case, that is how we're handling this project.
Case by case basis.
Correct.
Thank you.
And yes, sir, and happy to provide you with there's a very extensive list of community-based service providers that are already on contracts to Houston Center for Sobriety that were part of the original service schedule for folks who go through the Center for Sobriety. Mayor Pro Tem Gonzalez.
Thank you, Mayor. Councilor Green, one of the challenges that we had when we first launched the Sobering Center was growing a strong and consistent network that would be able to help with the ongoing care of people in recovery that enter the Sobering Center, because eventually that's where the city will really realize cost savings is when you have a chronic, alcoholic that cycles through the system. Instead of them going through just the jail, now they come through the Sobering Center, and eventually, hopefully, they get the need the help that they need. Hopefully, we'll stop seeing them down the road. And so with this is that, like you said, the formula dollars, and what this will allow is more outreach out in the community. Because once they leave the Sobering Center, they're back out in their own element. And so this provides a community-based resource now with Sobering Center staff that knows the individuals coming in, but it takes it out to the community level. But they're still working with community-based groups as part of a larger network, because this won't solve the full problem.
Right, if you would yield?
Yes.
Yeah, I guess my question is, because this is new, process with regard to formula monies or monies that I know the health department writes, millions of dollars. They do a great job of writing grants and bringing in dollars for our program. Just with regard to our current providers, Star Hope, Women's Center, will they now, instead of filling out applications to the health department to receive these funds, will they do that with the Houston Recovery Center now, or will they now come back to the city of Houston? And on the day end, when those formula dollars do come to the city, since we are the entity that is to receive these funds, do we automatically transfer, kind of like hot tax that we do to the Houston First? Is that now how we're going to operate?
I think the administration can obviously follow up with the proper and correct answer. I think that it's my understanding these are very targeted dollars from these formula dollars that can be specific to these type of services, and so that's why they did a letter of agreement in the fall with the Sobering Center. But it doesn't preclude them from still using the rest of those waiver dollars that we're getting from the federal government for the existing programs out in the community that I think you're talking about. Those will still continue as they always have.
Thank you.
Further discussion? Moving to a vote. Favor, opposed. Favor, opposed, item carries.